Time to tell it like it is.
You want a man that's a provider. If I am providing for you, if I'm taking care of these bills, I don't care if it's 80-20 or 70-30. If I'm taking care of majority of these bills in this house, I'm finding a way to give you some sex that you want and sex that I want too, right? I got to put that out there. If we have a child, I'm taking care of my responsibilities as a father. And I'm making sure that emotionally I'm there for you to some capacity, and the man is not perfect, right? But I'm doing all of these things. If you decide to step outside of me when I'm giving you all of these things, and providing is the main thing, 'cause I just listed 4 ways I'm providing for you, that means you're not satisfied and you will never be satisfied with what I have to offer for you to go out there and sleep with somebody else. So that's why it's more of a deal breaker for a man than it is a woman. Now, if you want to play devil's advocate, if a woman is paying all these bills and a woman is doing all those things, she has the right to go sleep with somebody else too, and he has to be quiet.
Okay.
But when I'm taking care of you like you are my own, you do not have, if I'm paying, listen, I'm going to say this to everybody, so I want all women to understand this. You want a man that's a provider.
And it just plays over from there. I think it's extremely ridiculous to think that because you pay, whether as he clearly stated, whether it's the man or woman, because you pay for everything, it should be acceptable that you go out there, and if you're messing around with someone else, then your partner should be quiet about that. I think that's insanely ridiculous. That is beyond ridiculous. This is what is different about the content that I put out there versus what the majority of these podcasters and different people are putting out there. So much of the shit they put out there is failure. And people love to eat this shit up. Things that are going to land you in a failed relationship. Even if that was something that somebody finds acceptable. Or if you can acknowledge, you can be man enough, woman enough to acknowledge that, hey, I don't want to be with just one person. They have something for that. Now more than ever that I've known in my entire life, there's content, there's videos, all kinds of posts all over different platforms and stuff. People proudly posting pictures of their poly relationships and things like that. There's extremely easy ways to avoid a whole bunch of unnecessary conflict and drama. I've been saying this since I was very young, since I was in my 20s, literally. I have one of my younger brothers who used to mess around with a whole bunch of women all the daggone time. I used to tell him all the time, you know there are plenty of women out here that want the same thing you want, just to mess around. I've done it myself before. Why continue to involve yourself with these women that want a relationship, that want commitment, knowing that you don't want that? Just find these women that want the same thing that you want. Simple. My point is this, and again, this is an example of the failed advice, the stupid shit that they put out here on these podcasts and things. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it does not matter if your partner is the one that is making majority of the money or all the money in the relationship. The other person is still going to have a problem with you cheating around. Unless you have yourself in a relationship where your significant other finds that acceptable, a poly relationship, or you just simply have had the discussion and they're okay with you messing around for some reason. I know this woman, she had a dislike for sex. She wanted to be in a relationship with someone, but she didn't like sex. So she allowed her man to be with women if he wanted to be with other women. So she didn't have to worry about doing that. There has to be an understanding. Stop using all these different things as excuses so you can cheat around and mess around. They're setting you up for failure in your relationships. Stop eating this shit up, people. For many years now, I've been encouraging people to do your own research. For a good reason, because unfortunately these days you can't trust this shit that you're seeing online, on social media. Unfortunately in this country, there's a lot of things you can almost not trust anything. Unfortunately in this country, that's what it's come to. You go and look at my videos, look at my live recordings on Facebook and all these different things. I encourage people to do their own research for that reason. A lot of these podcasters and these influencers, they're putting out this failed ass advice and encouraging people to have an understanding about their relationships that is going to end up creating flaws in their relationships. I invite anyone who disagrees with something that I say to join me in a discussion about it. Let's get to the bottom of it. We can have the discussion to determine what is best, what makes the most sense. But we have to stop being so quick, so immediate to believing and following the nonsense of some of these people, failed ass people themselves in their relationships, in their lives. That just because somebody is getting a lot of attention, just because somebody's a celebrity, just because somebody says something online, somebody has a podcast, or somebody has money, they're rich and famous, does not mean that what they're saying is correct or it makes sense. A lot of what these podcasters are putting out here these days is bullshit, is nonsense. Every time we have these conversations about relationships and we somehow think it makes sense to relate it to money, that's where we're failing. Black people, we need to be better than all these other groups of people. We should not be monetizing our relationships. This is where we're failing. Relationships should not be based on money in any way at all. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that. You got a lot of learning to do. Trust what I'm telling you. There are certain cultures and religions in this world that understand this well. You don't know this woman. You have no commitment to this woman. You don't pay nothing for that woman. I do understand that this is a part of the culture. This is a part of the traditional ways in which this country was built on. This is the United States. I get it. It's different here. I'm not suggesting that we all go out there and we stop paying for stuff. Have women pay for their own stuff all the time. That's not what I'm suggesting. We can stick to the traditional ways. We can pay as men when we go out on dates and things like that. But we have to stop with this connection of money as it relates to our relationships, or specifically sex. That's where we're failing ourselves. You know, there was a time in human history when there was no such thing as currency. It was community. It was unity. It was everyone doing whatever they could, whatever was necessary for the sake of all people's survival. Someone thought to create this thing we now call currency. I remember a post not long ago, someone was asking what is the worst thing that human beings have created. And I'm looking through the comments. I literally can only find one other person that said the same thing as I'm scrolling through literally hundreds of comments. The most important thing in life should be life itself. That act of which is responsible for your very existence. It's something that's being done for fun, for enjoyment, for pleasure. It's more than just for the sake of creating life. Regardless, it still remains the most important thing in life. The most important thing in life should be priceless, beyond valuable. That's how we should treat the most important thing known to human life. When you allow the degradation of the most important thing known in human life, that's where you have failed beyond failure. Like my video, share my video, subscribe to my channel, all that good stuff, so you'll get notification when I post the next one, especially if you comment, especially if you're planning on having a discussion with me. Be a part of the significant positive change that our Black people need in this country. If you truly care to see a positive difference for us, then subscribe to change, subscribe to being better people.